What is up, and welcome back to Seton Hill Studios. If it's your first time on the channel, my name is Steven, and for only the second time, we are checking out the Fat Electrician. We're looking at the most gangster politician ever, Cassius Marcellus Clay. A couple days ago, we checked out Operation Praying Mantis. It blew my mind. Hey, this dude's the real deal. So if you don't know nothing about the Fat Electrician, I'm going to link his page in the video description. Y'all go check him out. All right, a couple ways you can support the channel. The main way is to become a channel member right here on YouTube. Now, this gives you access to members-only videos and other exclusive perks. As of now, I have over 100 members-only videos, and I add to that periodically. Or if you dig what I'm doing, you can head on over to Buy Me a Coffee for a one-time donation. But like I always tell y'all, no expectations, no obligations. It is always appreciated. Shout out to the channel members. You guys are absolutely amazing. Allow me to continue to do this. So thank you so much. Hey, this dude blew my mind last time. Y'all requested this one. I can't wait to dig into it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go, the Fat Electrician, the most gangster politician ever, Cassius Marcellus Clay. Like I said a few days ago, we checked out Operation Praying Mantis from him. If you're looking for any of my comedy or non-music related reactions, go to our homepage, scroll down the playlist, B-side bangers, and you can find, hey, this dude's a storyteller, no doubt. Let's see what he's got for us today. Let's roll.
It's a riveting story. It was really good. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go. I gotta tell the internet about the guy I named you after, okay? You gotta go hang out with Mom now.
Oh, that's cool.
Today we're talking about the most gangster politician in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassius Marcellus Clay, aka the Lion of Whitehall. Whitehall being his family home that he grew up in Kentucky as the son of one of the richest slave owners.
Hey, shout out to Kentucky, man. Kentucky boy right here. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cassius Marcellus Clay, aka the Lion of Whitehall. Whitehall being his family home that he grew up in Kentucky as the son of one of the richest slave owners in all of America. While going to college at Yale to become a lawyer, he would attend a speech from a famous abolitionist by the name of William Lloyd Garrison, and that speech would change the entire trajectory of Cassius Clay's life as well as American history. It is at that moment that Cassius Clay decided he was not only going to be quietly opposed to slavery, but that he was actively going to fight against it. He would be set down the path to become the most influential abolitionist of all time. Oh god, forgot to do the ad. Hold on.
Dude, ain't Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali's real name, I believe.
To slavery, but that he was actively going to fight against it. He would be set down the path to become the most influential abolitionist of all time. Oh god, forgot to do the ad. Hold on. Sorry for bothering the video. Real quick, this video is brought to you by the biggest sponsor of the channel and my favorite sporting goods store, Shields. They've got over 30 retail locations across the United States and an even better online store that I'm going to have linked down below, and if you use my code, you're going to get free shipping. They've got everything you could imagine there. This is where I got this shirt. It's where I got this backpack. All of it was on sale. It was a great deal. Again, use my code down below. You're going to get free shipping. Back to the video. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to mention, Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Clay. Yeah, he was actually named after this guy too. Anyways, back to the video. Bye-bye. If you don't know, at this point in time, there's basically two different camps you could fall into for being anti-slavery. You could be an abolitionist or an emancipationist. An emancipationist is somebody that wants to vote it out over time, over the next 5, 10, 20 years, versus an abolitionist, which is somebody that believes we need to end slavery right now, and they're willing to fight about it. And in the case of Cassius Clay, he was willing to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. You see, Cassius Clay wasn't just some nobody punk kid that went off to college and decided that he didn't like slavery. This was the son of one of the wealthiest slave owners in all of America. So for him to come out and voice anti-slavery views was a huge deal, and it pissed off a lot of people. So, being that this was the 1820s, what do you do when you're pissed off? You challenge somebody to a duel. So needless to say, the young Cassius Clay found himself partaking in an awful lot of duels, and he never, ever lost. So, obviously, he's pretty good at it, and what do you do when you find something you're pretty good at? You want to keep doing it, right? Right. So Cassius Clay starts challenging anyone and everyone to a duel that dares to oppose him. It became common knowledge in his community that Cassius Clay would be willing to fight the wind if it blew from the west and he wanted it to blow from the east. This man went on a dueling rampage, so much so that by the time he graduated college, he was considered to be the deadliest duelist in all of North America. This guy was putting slave owners in the dirt like he was Johnny Appleseed planting fucking trees. He became known as the deadliest abolitionist.
He's wild with it. Hey, man. Once again, dude, his delivery's off the chain. I absolutely love it. Hey, Cassius Clay, that's the thing. Muhammad Ali is big in Louisville, Kentucky, man. So that's cool. That it's a nod to this guy. I never knew that. Hey, and somebody like that, man, just it is a straight gangster, straight boss. If you come in contact with him, it's a wrap, man. Let's keep rolling.
Duelist in all of North America. This guy was putting slave owners in the dirt like he was Johnny Appleseed planting fucking trees. He became known as the deadliest abolitionist of all time. So he graduates from college, goes back home as a lawyer. Shortly after that, his father passes away and leaves everything to Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay immediately frees all of his father's slaves, costing himself $40,000, which is roughly $2 million today. And then he even gives some of the slaves land and money on top of it. Absolutely infuriating the pro-slavery people in Kentucky. So, what do you do when half the local population hates your guts? You run for public office, and that's exactly what Cassius Clay did. He served in the Kentucky State Legislature from 1835 to 1841, and then finally lost his re-election, to which the pro-slavery crowd breathed a huge sigh of relief because they finally defeated Cassius Clay, or so they thought. Clay immediately starts traveling the country, giving amazing anti-slavery speeches, winning over hearts and minds, and this absolutely infuriates the pro-slavery people because they don't know how to stop him. You can't legally stop a guy from talking to people that want to listen to him, and they can't legally kill Cassius Clay in a duel because he's the best duelist on earth. What do? You've got to...
That's an interesting point too, man. And when you got the power of the people on your side, and a lot of people, you can't just do things like that because people are going to see through that. And like he's talking about, he's such a beast. If you challenge him to a duel, it's a wrap, man. So, hey, let's go. This dude is gangster.
You can't legally stop a guy from talking to people that want to listen to him, and they can't legally kill Cassius Clay in a duel because he's the best duelist on earth. What do? You've got to illegally kill him. The problem with that is they can't find a hitman that's dumb enough to think that they can take out Cassius Clay, so they have to go to the one crevice of the planet where they can find somebody truly insane enough to think that they can do this job. And that man's name was Sam Brown, an assassin from New Orleans. 1834, Russell Cave, Kentucky. Cassius Clay's finishing up one of his world-famous speeches as he pulls out a burlap sack, reaches into the sack and pulls out a holy Bible and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of God, I make to you this argument against slavery," sets the Bible on the table, reaches back in the sack, pulls out a copy of the U.S. Constitution, and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of man, I present to you this argument against slavery," sets the Constitution down on the table, drops a burlap sack to the ground and says, "For those of you that believe in neither the laws of God or man, I make to you this argument against slavery," as he pulls out both of his pistols and sets them on the table, which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck. And at this moment, Sam Brown comes up on stage and shoots Cassius Clay point blank in the chest. Luckily, Cassius Clay never leaves home without his trusted Bowie knife, which resides inside of a metal sheath. And that metal sheath would catch Sam Brown's bullet, saving Cassius Clay's life. At which point, Cassius Clay would draw his Bowie knife and charge Sam Brown. 6 of Sam Brown's friends in the audience tried to stop Cassius Clay. He would fight his way through all 6 of them, making his way to Sam Brown, promptly stabbing him in the chest, and then turning him into a Mr. Potato Head by cutting off his nose, lopping off his ear, and gouging out one of his eyes. Then the 6 men recovered and were able to peel Clay off of him. Not knowing what to do, knowing they couldn't stop Cassius Clay forever, they panicked, probably for fear that Cassius Clay was going to start shoving this guy's facial features up his ass next. They did the only thing they could come up with to get the two apart. They picked up their friend Sam Brown, threw him over a 7-foot-high stone wall. He fell down an embankment and into a creek bed to finally get Cassius Clay away from him. Somehow, Sam Brown survived, but not only was he lucky for that, he was also dumb as fuck because he then decided to take Cassius Clay to court because apparently after Cassius Clay stabbed him...
Take him to court, dude. That's weak sauce. Hey, what a boss. I love that too, man. Pulls out the Holy Bible. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you already know I'm a Christian, believer and follower of Jesus Christ. Then pulls out the Constitution. And then if you don't like either of those, he pulls out the pistolas, man. What a boss. And then 6 men to hold him back. This dude ain't playing no games. And then what's he gonna do? Take him to court. Weak sauce.
Survived. But not only was he lucky for that, he was also dumb as fuck because he then decided to take Cassius Clay to court because apparently after Cassius Clay stabbed him the first time, they were even on the whole assassination attempt thing, so Cassius Clay should go to prison for mayhem. So Cassius Clay calls upon his older cousin, one of the best lawyers on the planet that had never lost an open court with over 40 years of experience, Henry Clay. Henry Clay goes into court and his entire defense for his cousin is, and I quote, "Your Honor, this is just standard behavior for a Kentuckian." And the judge is just like,
let's go.
"You're innocent. Free to go. That's it. best court case ever, literally walks in and just goes,
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
So after Cassius Clay was found innocent, Henry Clay decides that he's going to run for president and Cassius is going to help him campaign. Cassius is going to tour the country giving speeches saying, hey, you know, vote for my cousin. Here's the rule with that. Henry Clay told him he's only allowed to tour the northern states because he's actually legitimately concerned that if he sends Cassius to the south, he's going to shoot so many fucking slave owners in duels that it could be considered voter fraud. So Henry Clay ends up losing the presidential election and Cassius moves on to his next life adventure, which is becoming an author and writing anti-slavery news articles. The problem with that was none of the newspapers were willing to publish him, so he says, fuck you, I'll start my own newspaper, The True American. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, starting an anti-slavery newspaper in fucking Kentucky in 1845 was not very popular, and his business would receive death threats pretty much every day, some of which were written in blood. So Cassius Clay, in true Cassius Clay fashion, says, fuck it, I guess we're gonna fight about it. He then proceeds to up-armor his entire business and his printing office. He covers the entire...
That's what's crazy, man. If you got somebody like Cassius Clay, a man that is driven by his own moral beliefs, and you cannot stop somebody like that. You cannot stop somebody. You hold up a brick wall, he's gonna find another way, man. And this dude, this story's wild, man. He truly is a gangster. It's like with all those things against him, he can't be stopped, man. And somebody like that, hey, throughout the country's origins and throughout the country's history, you know, people like that have shaped the United States of America, dude. This dude is a boss. Get me fired up.
Cassius Clay, in true Cassius Clay fashion, says, fuck it, I guess we're gonna fight about it. He then proceeds to up-armor his entire business and his printing office. He covers the entire front of the office in a large iron sheet. He installs several cannons down corridors, stocks the entire thing with loaded guns, and rigs it to explode. Here's the thing, he also doesn't expect his employees to fight to the death for him, so he installs an escape hatch and instructs them to escape if anything goes down, because he's gonna fight the entire mob by himself. How's he gonna do that? As soon as you walk in the only door to get into that printing office, you find yourself in a long, narrow corridor with iron on each side, just wide enough for a single man to get through. Cassius Clay is going to stand in that narrow corridor and fight the entire mob one man at a time. Literally the mentality of, if you have a problem, take a number, I'll kill you in a minute. This man recreated the entire battle of fucking Thermopylae with 300 Spartans, except he's going to do it all by himself. If you think fucking with John Wick's dog is a bad idea, the last thing you want to do is fuck with Cassius Clay's printing press, because this man is determined to defend the freedom of speech with the right to bear arms at any cost. Obviously, this escalates to Cassius Clay defeating an entire mob single-handedly. Right? Wrong. The mob, being full of, you know, super brave pro-slavery men that know they're doing the right thing, do the honorable brave thing and wait till Cassius Clay is bedridden with typhoid fever so they know he isn't going to show up. They show up to his business at night and burn the place to the ground because they're a bunch of fucking bitches. Yeah. Now, Cassius Clay recovers from typhoid fever. He reestablishes a newspaper in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is an anti-slavery stronghold. The only problem with that is, being an anti-slavery stronghold, there's not going to be any conflict, and that's fucking boring, so Cassius Clay moves on to another life adventure, volunteering in the Mexican-American War. While serving in the Mexican-American...
Dude, some people are just built different. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of my grandparents' generation, you know, they're built different. Like, my grandfather worked on the railroad out there in the sun, snow, whatever. And it's like, I'll say it, like, a lot of, especially the younger generation, man, has gotten so soft. It's ridiculous, man. Dudes like this are just built different.
There's not going to be any conflict, and that's fucking boring, so Cassius Clay moves on to another life adventure, volunteering in the Mexican-American War. While serving in the Mexican-American War, he would be a captain leading a group of Kentucky soldiers, and they would be captured pretty much immediately, and he would spend the duration of the entire war as a POW. While serving as a POW, some of the men under his command would escape, meaning that the Mexican military was then going to put the rest of his unit to death. Cassius Clay said, hey, don't kill my men, just kill me and my other fellow officers. We're the ones in charge. It's our fault that those men escaped. It's our responsibility. Please let the lower enlisted men go home. The Mexican military was so impressed by this that they decided to spare everyone, including Cassius Clay, and he would return home a war hero. Returning home from the war in 1848, he didn't really know what to do, so he starts giving his famous speeches again.
Sorry to interrupt again, y'all. Hey, here's the thing, man. Somebody like that who's had, I believe that God's favors on his life, man. It's like all these situations, you know, this is such an extraordinary story that, you know, I believe this man was sent for a purpose, and God's favor was shown upon him. This is crazy, dude.
decided to spare everyone, including Cassius Clay, and he would return home a war hero. Returning home from the war in 1848, he didn't really know what to do, so he starts giving his famous speeches again, this time leveraging his newfound title as a war hero. So obviously it doesn't take long for him to piss everybody off. He faces yet another assassination attempt. This time 6 brothers from a wealthy slave-owning family show up, the Turner brothers. They show up with clubs and knives and guns, and they beat the living shit out of Cassius Clay with the clubs. They stabbed him multiple times. Cassius Clay whips out his trusted Bowie knife, starts opening up these brothers like they're fucking Amazon packages, making his way to the lead brother and stabbing him an excessive amount of times. We don't know how many times, but we do know it was a lifetime supply. Killing the lead brother, ending the assassination attempt, Cassius Clay would fall to the ground, nearly dead, and this would be the closest anybody ever came to actually killing Cassius Clay. When he was asked about it later on in life, all he said was, "I felt the utmost indignation," which translates to, "I was fucking annoyed." This man almost died from an assassination attempt, and he has the same attitude towards it that I have towards fucking fruit flies, okay? This dude is so metal, he deserves his own spot on the periodic table of elements. Cassius Clay then makes a full recovery from his injuries, starts giving his speeches again. 1853, he donates a large chunk of his land to John Fee, who uses it to found Berea College, the first co-educational and multiracial college in the South ever.
Man.
Fast forward to 1860, Cassius Clay is giving speeches.
I believe Berea, Kentucky, so I believe Berea College is still around. When I was in high school, we actually played at Berea, like a game. So if it's the same place, I believe that place is still around.
Chunk of his land to John Fee, who uses it to found Berea College, the first co-educational and multiracial college in the South ever. Fast forward to 1860, Cassius Clay is giving speeches in Illinois where he meets a politician by the name of Abraham Lincoln, and they get along great. Cassius Clay is then slotted to become Abraham Lincoln's vice president. However, he's a little bit too Cassius Clay to be an actual big-name politician like that, so they give the job to Hannibal Hamlin, and Cassius Clay becomes the ambassador to Russia. 1861 rolls around, the Civil War breaks out, Cassius Clay is in Russia. Cassius Clay not only convinces Russia to not side with the Confederates, but he convinces Russia to tell Great Britain and France that if they so much as recognize the Confederacy, Russia will go to war with them. And this was a humongous step that nobody talks about in the winning of the Civil War.
That's crazy.
And it is 100% because of Cassius Clay. Fast forward to 1862, Abraham Lincoln wants to appoint Clay a major general in the Union Army. Cassius Clay publicly refuses the President of the United States, saying that he's not going to do it until the President signs the Emancipation Proclamation freeing the slaves of the South. Cassius Clay is literally the man that bullied Abraham Lincoln into prematurely signing the Emancipation Proclamation before he wanted to. And nobody
This is crazy, dude. That's the thing. My whole life, I've heard Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. I didn't know nothing about Cassius Clay. The only thing I knew about Cassius Clay was it was Muhammad Ali's real name. Then that's because I live in Kentucky, man. But that is crazy, dude. Single-handedly, this dude changed the course of history. Hey, that gets me charged up because that's the thing. In all of us, man, if we do good, follow godly principles, and we're bold and not soft, and that's the thing. And quick little rant, man. This story hits me hard because it's like everybody's scared to stand for something these days. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's, you don't want to take this stance. You don't want to take this stance, and it's like this is cool because it shows in history, man. One dude that stood against the grain and changed so many lives for the better. Such a beautiful thing, dude.
Cassius Clay is literally the man that bullied Abraham Lincoln into prematurely signing the Emancipation Proclamation before he wanted to. And nobody talks about it. Fast forward again to 1865, the Union wins the Great American Scrimmage, the slaves are freed. Cassius Clay has achieved his lifelong goal at the age of 55, bringing an end to slavery in the United States of America. He then goes back to Russia again to serve as ambassador until 1869, and while he is there, he helps to broker the purchase of Alaska. This man is probably the most influential person in American history that you've never heard of. After returning home from Russia, Cassius Clay would live out the rest of his days in Whitehall until the age of 80 years old, where he would be declared clinically insane, in hindsight, most likely due to a severe amount of PTSD, as well as potentially dementia. He didn't die from it. He lived on for quite a bit longer. He just picked up a new hobby of fucking with the local sheriff because he was crazy now. Over the course of the next decade, Clay and the sheriff would have multiple run-ins that would be concluded when the sheriff and 7 deputies were repelled from Whitehall when Clay utilized his home defense cannon that he had at the top of his stairwell. At that point, the local sheriff would inform the local judge he will not be returning to Whitehall to tangle with Cassius Clay anymore unless the judge was willing to dispatch an entire company of the local militia to accommodate him. Then in 1900, two men would break into Whitehall, and Cassius Clay at the age of 89 would manage to kill both of them, one by gunshot and one, yet again, with his trusted Bowie knife. Then in 1903, at the age of 92, Cassius Clay would die of natural causes, or as they called it back then, general exhaustion, which is the most gangster way on the planet to go out. Literally just, I'm tired now, peace, and then he left.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
In conclusion, when it comes to famous historical household names,
Hey, my man done did it all. He's out here at 90-something years old just two-piecing people. I am straight baffled by this, dude. I absolutely love this story, man. And the thing is, throughout his whole life, man, he made his own way. And not that he made his own way, he changed so many lives for the better. That's the thing about it, too. He wasn't just out here doing nonsense. He was making the world a better place, abolishing slavery, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Planet to go out. Literally just, I'm tired now, peace, and then he left.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
In conclusion, when it comes to famous historical household names, there's always another man or woman lurking behind the scenes in the shadows that's deemed too rough around the edges to be in the spotlight, yet they contribute just as much, if not more, to the movement. These men and women are willing to do horrific things for terrific reasons. And when it came to Abraham Lincoln and the abolition of slavery, that man's name was Cassius Marcellus Clay, the most gangster politician in American history. Thanks for watching the video. The best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Man, so cool. My goodness. Hey, my mind is absolutely blown off at. Hey, Cassius Clay was a straight boss. No doubt he was gangster, man. And that's cool, dude, because I had never heard that. Like I said, the only name I've heard of Cassius Clay was Muhammad Ali. That was his real name. And I only knew that because I'm from Kentucky, man. What a story. Hey, Fat Electrician delivering like always. This is only the second video I've seen from him too, man. If y'all don't know about him, y'all go check him out. He's obviously got a big following. Such a legend, dude. Hey, this is the real deal. And the thing is, you're learning along the way, which is killer, man. I absolutely loved it. Hope you enjoyed it. Absolutely unreal, man. Hey, Cassius Clay was coming at old dude so bad, his buddies had to dump him over the wall because they couldn't stop him, man. What a beast, dude. Gets me charged up. Y'all let me know what else I need to check out from the Fat Electrician. This was fire. All right, guys, if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I release more content, you all get it. Thanks so much for kicking it, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.